There are in total two curriculums in the college. The first one is related to, being good, attention in studies and doing, you know, assignments, this, that. The another one which people really don't talk about. But here in this video, I will be talking about it because I really want people to know that what kind of things which they will be going through, and everybody, not only in college, even in corporate life, you will have to go through few of the things, and everywhere this really happens. Okay, otherwise I think you cannot survive. You will only cry and you will be like, oh my god, ये मेरे साथ क्यों हो रहा है, ये मैंने क्या बिगाड़ा है, मेरे साथ क्यों. These questions will continuously come in your mind. The biggest thing which people really don't talk about is how to deal with people. Okay, I really, the very first point which I'm going to talk about, I really suffered or faced this a lot of times. Still today, not in college, but in my society, I face this where I'm living currently, which is sometimes, being quiet means you're showing attitude or you're very rude. One thing I really didn't understand at very first is how it is like if I don't go and talk with faculty regularly, sometimes it is interpreted as that you are rude or you're having a lot of attitude or you know everything. Your faculty will constantly or sometimes depends on what the scenario is, will taunt you on like, yeah, class, she to knows everything. Okay, something like that. And also in my society also I'm facing currently a lot of things like that. And at very first, now though I know what's the situation and why this is happening because I'm used to it. But at very first, when I used to face this in college, I used to think, yeah, I am here only for to study, right? Not to do gossips or not to talk, which is irrelevant. I didn't realize that I had to also maintain a social thing with uh, like faculty members, everybody, wherever I'm staying, wherever I'm going, to everyone. Okay, so I understood that you don't have to butter people. Yes, if you can butter people, that's amazing. That will really help you in your future life. But if you cannot, then I think you really need to communicate because people really think around you that you're very rude and you're very, attitude wala type of person, which you're not. I understand that, but now it is what it is. So you need to pay attention to that because you will face this in a lot of circumstances, in a lot of situations. The next point is the favorite student phenomena. I went through this, when I was in my second year, yeah, last semester itself. That was the first time I went through that, but later on, I didn't care. I'm not saying that every faculty does this because I made few faculty who are really like genuinely, like they give genuine advice to every people. And this semester I made that particular faculty, and he is having so much of knowledge, so much of things, and he really give that particular feedback. It's not like, yeah, I have a good rapport with you, and so I won't say you that thing, but I will say it to others and I will not give the marks and a lot of stuff. Okay, so I really respect that particular person, though he sounds very rude when he's giving the what to say, critics, but he is a very good person, good teacher, good everything, because he is genuinely faculty who really wants us to go higher and to understand how corporate life really works. But certain faculties are also there who are having a good rapport with the kids of your class, and he will literally, if you and that person are doing the same work, but he will appreciate and give a applaud or give everything to her, and you will not get that. And I know it affects sometimes a lot and sometimes you don't care, and I think that's a better thing. You should not care, because I cared too much a certain period of time, but later on when it went to the final jury, I understood that I was correct. I was just emotionally like that, yeah, bye. But later on I just thought, yeah, this really happens to a lot of people, And in schools also, maybe you have faced this, a lot of people, and I really didn't care about it in school because I was a very average student in studies and all. So I will say don't really compare yourself to others, but yeah, do build, reputation of your work. Okay, because a day when my faculty chose to do that favorism, I felt that and all of that stuff. But I was confident with my product and I went forward in the final jury when the external juror who don't know us has came and saw the work and he appreciated it. मैंने बनाया था जिसके लिए मेरे को मिला था वो चीज़ वो सही नहीं थी and I was correct and I was confident that's a good thing that yes मेरे काम सही है. So build your reputation. Don't try to be that particular person or क्योंकि अगर तुम किसी के जैसा बनना चाहोगे ना तो तुम हो और जो तुम्हारे में ऐसे खूबी है वो उधर से तुम भटक जाओगे. That's the main point of telling us. The third point is politics are not called politics, okay? Because college politics is not always like very dramatic or something like that. It's like very simple. Sometimes it's like who gets involved in opportunities. Sometimes it's like who gets asked for opinions. Sometimes it's like who gets recommended. Sometimes it's like who gets remembered. Something like that. And I think there is where networking comes in because I used to think networking means going to the college regularly, build connections through events, Indian connections, and all of that stuff. But in college, networking really means to know the people and to make them know you, who you are. And sometimes you can talk like anything, okay? Sometimes you can talk valuable, but if that person is really, you feel like that person will be like you will be needing that person in future. I think if you can talk anything and build the network because it will really help you in future because it's not only about going to the clubs, participating in college fairs, participating in functions. It's not like that. Communicating is a very big thing and you should do that, whoever you are, introvert, ambivert, extrovert तो वो तो ज़रूरत नहीं होती है बोलते रहते because I'm having a lot of extrovert friends. I'm an ambivert person though, but yeah. Fourth thing, so I am always a very rebellious kid kind of thing. Even my father also tells, but sometimes, and this I didn't suffer a lot because I knew this from my school life itself, which is you don't need to fight for every injustice. This is a very very essential point for everybody because when you feel something is unfair, your first instinct is like, oh, I need to see something here. Okay, but college taught me being right and getting into a fight about being right are two completely different things. And after that, you need to talk to yourself and ask, is this the right energy you really want? Because I don't think, because these things, make your entire environment, make your entire mindset, not mindset, but mind really, you will feel like why I'm not able to concentrate on a particular thing. But don't become a doormat either, okay? Please, before somebody really tells that so we need to tolerate unfairness, no, you don't need to. I'm really not saying that thing. I'm saying to learn the difference between something which need conversation or deserve conversation and something that deserves a word. And I think you need to hear this again to learn the difference between something that deserves a conversation and something that deserves a word. And that is the entire thing. If you understand it, it will be very peaceful. Okay, so the next point is which I really learned because as you know I'm a design student, we are having juries constantly. So in juries many jurors come and people really tends to have different perspective obviously, so you may disagree with them a lot of times. Okay, I also disagree a lot of times. I had a lot of questions, but you really need to maintain that expression, maintain that tone of your voice, maintain everything, how much disrespectful the person be. Okay, how much it is. You have to maintain that tone and politely disagree, and you know, और also you can do one more thing which is सुनो but करो आप नहीं, ठीक है, मतलब सुनते रहो but don't do that. Okay, don't make the changes. You have to disagree very politely with that same expression when he was, you know, encouraging or praising you. वो सोच के तुम वही expression और वही tone रखो, because that really affects a lot of conversations, that you need to maintain your tone and facial expression. And the last one is don't let one person's opinion define you. Sometimes you can genuinely put in the work, put everything of your that particular assignment or work, and still not get the response you expected. And you know, when that particular thing happens, it is very normal to think that maybe I'm not good enough for this. And it's very human tendency to think of that. One person's evaluation is not an objective measurement of your ability. Okay, this is the very important thing I think you should understand, because and if you're going to the design college, you should obviously understand. I don't know about other, you know, other fields, what exactly people go through. I know few because my few friends are in engineering colleges, but others I really don't know. But if you're surely going to the design college, you should keep this particular thing in your mind, okay? Because this will happen to you in every jury, in every, you know, pre-juries, in every classes, in every faculties will do it, some will not again. So you need to really understand it. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing, that's the points which I was going to tell you. And I think there are more which people has faced. I have also faced, but again, everything I cannot put it in one video. But these are the very important things people should know about it if they're going to the college. And I think again, college politics you cannot completely avoid. For sure, you cannot avoid it. You are going to deal with difficult people. You are going to misunderstand people. People are going to misunderstand you. You are going to feel that someone else got an opportunity which you deserve for. For sure, this will happen with you. Sometimes you might even be right. Yes, maybe you hua bhi hai, okay. But I think the goal isn't to become someone who knows to manipulate the system, but I think the goal should be to become someone who knows how to navigate it without losing themselves. Because college is only a few years of your life. Don't let your 4 years like to change yourself completely because of this few politics of the people who are around you. Learn the politics, but don't become the politics. Guys, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.